Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte. And today we are taking a look again at number 88 in Chicago, Patrick Kane. We have some more updates on some teams that have been linked to the superstar out of Chicago. We're going to go over that today. So obviously the first one is news that we've already talked about, and that is Patrick Kane being on the radar of the Edmonton Oilers. Ken Holland has seemingly been trying to go in there and try and see what he can get for Patrick Kane. And I've already made a mock trade. You guys could check that video out. I made that earlier this week, and I left a mock trade with the Oilers, and I think it is credible. There is reason to believe that that could happen. But we've also gotten some other teams that have been in the mix, and we've heard all of these teams here over the last probably 5 or 6 months. And this is from Frank Saravelli. He said the New York Rangers, the Edmonton Oilers, and the Toronto Maple Leafs have all been linked to Patrick Kane. So that's kind of interesting, right? Because you look at Patrick Kane as a guy that is a pretty good hockey player, I would say, for the most part. I think most people would agree he will be a Hall of Famer, probably have his 88 hung in the rafters there at the United Center in the next decade or two, depending on how long he plays. And I think he's a really, again, this is going to be a hot commodity and a hot topic probably for the next 6 to 8 months until he eventually maybe gets traded. So this is from Nick Alberga. He says the Columbus Blue Jackets are a legitimate team to watch for Patrick Kane. Now that one's kind of interesting. The Columbus Blue Jackets have already had an interesting summer, right? They already brought in Johnny Gaudreau and Eric Goodbranson. And they're kind of looking like the Calgary Flames right now, right? They almost look like Calgary because they're trying to restock the pile, right? I mean, you could argue from Columbus, they haven't been able to restock this team since they lost Panarin and Bobrovsky, right? They haven't been able to get any of that kind of talent back. So Gaudreau comes in, kind of changing the tone on the market of Columbus, and here they are going after Patrick Kane. And listen, they've got a lot of high-end draft picks and prospects that I'm sure the Chicago Blackhawks would like, especially down the middle. You look at some of those guys down the middle for the Blue Jackets. I mean, the Blackhawks are kind of lacking in that category. Trading Kirby Dach, probably losing Jonathan Toews next year. You look at some of those young guys up the middle, just to name a couple names. Kent Johnson, Cole Sillinger. I mean, those are some of their best prospects on the roster. Jack Roslovic, Justin Danforth. Those are some pretty decent players. Again, Justin Danforth maybe the lower tier on that, but some really good prospects there. Now, I think that Columbus could work a pretty big trade here, and that's where I think Columbus does fit here. Now, the problem is, would Patrick Kane want to sign a long-term extension in Columbus? I don't know. Now, here's the thing. It would be closer to the Northeast, where he's from. He's from Buffalo, New York, which many have mentioned the Buffalo Sabres. If he does make it to free agency next summer, the Buffalo Sabres will absolutely be on the radar. They just don't want to acquire him in a trade because they know they're going to have to give up some of their good prospects to the Blackhawks, and they don't want to do that. So I understand where that's coming from. If he does hit the market, they will be able to try and acquire him. Now here's Frank Saravelli again. Saravelli wonders if a team like the Los Angeles Kings could go for Patrick Kane. Again, definitely speculation there. The Los Angeles Kings, kind of like Columbus, coming out of a rebuild. Maybe not lacking center depth, but, that's a team that, again, it actually could work. Because you look at maybe, say, a Gabe Velarde, or I don't think they're going to be trading a guy. Oh, they might. You think like a guy like Alex Turcotte. Are those kind of guys that would move the Blackhawks to say, yeah, we would be willing to trade Patrick Kane for a Velarde or Turcotte? Is that enough? And I think that's kind of the problem here, right? Even for the Los Angeles Kings, who have one of the deeper prospect pools in the entire National Hockey League. So I think Patrick Kane would be a great fit in Los Angeles. And keep him off the East Coast, please. As an Islander fan, just keep him on the West. But I think Patrick Kane is one of those guys that there are going to be plenty of suitors for him. And if you have the prospects and the draft picks to get that deal done and the will, I think the deal could get done here. I'm thinking sometime it's got to be in December or January, right? Because here's the thing. If you wait till the trade deadline to trade Patrick Kane, you're not getting enough value for him. In the sense that if a team knows they're only going to have him for, say, a dozen games and a playoff run, they're not going to give you 2 first-round picks, 2 prospects, and a high-end prospect. It's not going to happen. So if the sooner you could trade Kane, and you know you're not going to be a playoff team this year anyway, it's better off to do that. And I think they've been trying to push Patrick Kane to waive his no-movement clause, trading DeBrincat, trading Hagel, because they want to get max value for him before he hits the open market next summer. And every day that this gets closer and closer to next July, his value continues to go down. And the latest report from Kane is that he does not want to get traded right now. Does a certain phone call change that? Potentially. But as of right now, Patrick Kane wants to feel out the beginning of this season. And if that's the case, is he going to want to talk contract mid-season? Is he going to want to talk about trades mid-season? And now, Chicago kind of has their salary cap. Every team in the league starting to get their salary cap structure. Can they put a $10.5 million Patrick Kane contract, just snap it onto their roster? It's not going to happen. Now you need to get a 3-team trade to trade Patrick Kane. Now Chicago has to retain half that money. Again, this is where things get more complicated. The closer we get to the season, the more difficult and the less value Chicago is going to get for Patrick Kane. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of Patrick Kane at the ripe young age of 34 years old? Do you guys see a trade coming for Patrick Kane, or do you think he's going to hold out to the beginning of the season? Does he get traded at the trade deadline? Or does none of this matter and he ends up signing an 8-year extension in Chicago? I do think at this point that is the least likely thing, but let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.